Karen is universally accepted as a rude, racist person. Okay, there she is, the bird watcher. Remember her? Okay, get back. I feel threatened, police, the whole thing. Let me weaponize the police. I mean, they're everywhere, and Karen is not going to change. It's what we're going with. However, it is a trend now where you have women who have started to legally change their names, ditch the name Karen, because it's just too dangerous to be called that, and they want to start fresh. They don't believe they are the embodiment of that, and so they are taking measures to change their name. Karen Taylor says she is changing her name because of its misuse. Here are her grievances. Let's put those up. As someone named Karen, when you go home and turn on the TV or go on the internet, you're as likely as not to see your name being misused. Karen Taylor, a 56-year-old small business owner, told the Post, "You walk around with a tag that says racist." Okay, that's from the Post. Karen has constantly seen her name dragged through the mud since mocking Karen memes went viral in 2020. While vacationing in Florida, she spotted a "No Karens" sign at a bar and once canceled her order at a local coffee shop that sold "No Karen" stickers. That's how offended she is. By May of 2020, she'd finally had enough and started going by a new name. And now she's in the process of legally changing her name and officially leaving Karen behind. "It took me a couple of sleepless weeks to decide I had to change my name," she said. "Karen is a great name. Being forced to give up your name, the first thing your parents gave you, is a big deal." Taylor's parents are both deceased, but she thinks her name change is something they would have approved. They would have approved of this, she thinks, as Jewish Americans with a family history of changing names to avoid discrimination. "Some parents are crushed, but I tend to think of it as something my parents would have understood." On Facebook, women named Karen have created anti-bullying groups to support one another with memes like this. "Hey Karen, you know what? You're pretty awesome." This inspirational message. Let's give you some of the history on how Karen became synonymous with a stereotypical rude and racist female. Until just a couple of years ago, Karen was, well, an innocuous name derived from a Greek word meaning pure. That is rich. And one so popular that it was given to nearly 2% of girls born in the mid-1950s. But things changed in 2005 when comedian Dane Cook took a shot in a stand-up routine declaring every group has a Karen, and she is always a bag of that part. The joke took off on Reddit, made inroads in the Black community as a catch-all moniker for problematic white women. Unfortunately, the popularity of the name Karen has only grown because of the many females who feel entitled to belittle others. Entrepreneurs have caught on, they've capitalized on it by creating Karen diners across the globe where the waitresses are unpleasant. So I would say this, all right, ask you this, Jessica, the Facebook groups, I'd like to start there. These women who are so offended and need this reinforcement, this positive energy, and those who say, you know what, we're gonna change our name. My first thought was, well, at least they're able to do that, to change their name and then change their circumstance. How ironic.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Some people cannot go in public without being racially profiled and harassed, have the police called on them, maybe be arrested and detained and lose their freedom, or at worst, murdered by the police. These people just have to change their names. You can't change the color of your skin. And it's very telling that the decision they made when it came to these Facebook groups was not, hey, it seems that we need some education about systems of oppression and the racial history of the United States within the community of white women. That was not their approach. They weren't like, hey, there are some members of our community that are not acting right. Instead, they're like, you know what, you're fine and valid as you are, nothing fundamentally needs to change. That's very telling that they're not acknowledging the actual root of the problem.
Yeah, why not wear it? Why not wear it and everything that comes with it? like so many black and brown people, so many others have to do? Why not just own it? Is the term Karen rude? Sure. And Karens are rude. Why not own the term, lock, stock, barrel, the whole thing, and maybe place yourself in somebody else's shoes? It still wouldn't be deep enough. Okay, the shoe still wouldn't fit. But it does occur to me that there are some who say you should feel sorry for these people who perhaps have not been caught on cell phone recordings doing some of these deeds. But it seems to me those who are entitled enough to make a Facebook group like this, Jessica, I would guess they've had at least a few Karen moments.
Yeah, there's some kind of guilt behind why do we need to defend ourselves, right? Instead of doing something to make the world a better place, to say, you know what, I'm going to be a good Karen instead. They accept to some extent by making this group and going on the defensive that they are the type of people that fit what we usually associate with the name Karen. And it's been misunderstood so many times. Like there are definitely still some people that will harass others in public. We covered this on Indisputable. There was a Karen that was called a Karen during an interaction. And she said, you know what, I do care. Saying she cared about her neighborhood. And that's why she was being labeled a Karen.
Wow.
That's an interesting reclaiming of the word Karen. If you wanted to actually show that you care about your community, maybe treat the people who live in the community with respect and decency and unlearn the hate that's in your heart. Then you might actually care. Then you might actually be a caring Karen, but they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is a lot of work. That's a heavy lift. Unpacking perhaps your whole life, your lineage, your privilege, all of it. That's a heavy lift, but I think you're exactly right. As someone who, the Google pops up every other day, I get a Google. Sometimes it even has my middle initial E, and it talks about people. Sometimes they're obituary notices. Sometimes these people have robbed a bank. I don't feel any kind of way, except, oh wow, I feel bad for the family, the obit. But if I'm not dead and I didn't rob the bank, what do I care? Okay, I know there's Karens out there. I know what the term is used for. What do I care, right? Just saying.